Hello, chat, yo. Testing the chat voice. Right, yeah. My mic is working. My audio is working. So, chat, yeah. My audio is now working. So, well, as you can see, we're on 5.84 mil. So, we've still got. I've got 8 minutes left of circ induced here. So, I'm just going to quickly spin these. Pardon me. So, I'm going to show you guys my index just because you guys might wonder what my index is. So I'm going to start with from normal to hell, obviously. So yeah, as you can see here, I've got a lot missing, as you can see, but I feel like the normal SAS with doing some trades you can get, but same with normal exclusives and whatnot. But you know, I'm only going to want to buy it for cheap. I don't want to have to spend 200 or 120 on it, you know? So, and then Halloween, here's my index for Halloween stuff. So if any of you've got stuff you'd love to lend me for index, I would really appreciate that. And then here's the first normal world index. Alright, a pack hunted that anyone wants to trade. So yeah, Dragon Race. Alright, you think you're smart, do you? Haha, you can't trade me now. I don't have the patience to sit here and do a next. I just don't, you see. So now this is the biggest one I can do for index one. These two are probably the biggest. These three probably. So yeah. Or actually no, my normal world is quite low on index actually. So yeah. I wish there was a way that you could categorize it easier. But for now, I've got to focus on this and on getting my speed up because, you know, I need to purely due to the fact, you know, I just do. So, yeah, for now, I think I might actually go and see what bar is in my plaza as well, just for a quick check, uh, out of curiosity. So, yeah. Now, I want to get into the best server. I believe I'm in the best server now. No, I'm not. So, I'm going to join back my best server. So, if I had gems, what could I get? Yeah, no. Pardon me. Yeah, no, there's just no one really interested in doing any deals with me, so I'll just go back and I'll just grind the race again, I guess. So, yeah, I certainly won't be doing any Sarny SAS trades because this, this is like, it might, I don't know, it might actually be worth less. The Sarny SAS might potentially be worth less than the new secret, but I don't know. I can guarantee you it would be less than the huge dark variant, as one, it's not even an index, meaning like you can't physically see like you physically cannot see how many exist, so people aren't going to be able to value it as easy. So therefore, you know, if you guys have got any questions, feel free to type it in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and launch some polls to enter so I can interact with you guys. I've just made a poll. Feel free to vote on it. I won't force you. So, I'm just gonna double check my bank just to see if there's anything good in there. I don't know. No, there's not really anything good in there. There's just a load of absolute crap I don't need. So, yeah. But I've got a few exclusives in my bank, but that's about it. There's nothing of real value. You know what? No, there isn't enough people here, so there's not really. Right, I was thinking this is something I don't really want to do now. This is something I would want to do on a different stream or something, but I could, just to clear my bank, so I've got the space for future reasons. I could take everything in my bank and I could just give it away. I won't give the exclusives away, but I'll give all the other pets away. I won't give any exclusives away, no, or any like things of these that are exclusives that cost Robux. I won't give any of them away. So yeah, I've got 5.9 now. I've got 5.9 million now.
I asked my girlfriend if she can take a shower. Look, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but my girlfriend showers maybe once a week, twice if I'm really lucky. We go to the gym together almost every day. I'll finish my workout drenched. If this happens, who got a trophy run for Fed? We left my man talking wet, no nitty. Ripped him out of his vest. I know hella man live on the net, but usually live when food gets sent. So my time.
Sir Keir Starmer is leaning towards the one thing.
Alright,
Keir Starmer is
let's talk. Yeah, I'm bored, yeah? I'm gonna spice things up a bit. Let's talk about politics. So I'm gonna watch this video, I'm gonna tell you what it's about.
Sir Keir Starmer is leaning towards a ban on social media. Sir Keir Starmer is leaning towards a ban on social media for under 16s following pressure from Labour MPs. The Prime Minister has been reluctant to support a full ban, but in what would be his latest big policy shift.
So, Keir Starmer is looking to ban social media for under 16s, right? Now, I feel like people that are 14 or 15 are mature enough, but the issue is there are a lot of young kids getting exposed to stuff they should not be getting exposed to. So I agree with that point, but what I don't agree with is that it's going to cause a lot of issue for a lot of young streamers because now they cannot stream because they're banned from it. So their dreams are crushed in an instant. Now they've got to wait 5 years just to do that. But if they've got 10k followers and that ban hits, 5 years later, they're going to have to rebuild everything. They're not going to be able to just fake their age, are they? Because they're going to ensure that can't happen. Right? And ultimately, as a result, a lot of people are going to be upset. So I feel like they should do it for under 13s to the rate where, you know, so that 10-year-olds aren't getting exposed to nudity or whatever. So yeah, the 1 year over 13, you should be mature enough to basically learn and be mature on TikTok and whatnot. And then every now and then they might be a bit immature and they might learn from that. So yeah. Do you guys have any other questions? So yeah, I'm going to try not to do pauses because it's clear to me that people keep leaving because I'm pausing, having silent moments in my stream. So I'll do my best to constantly talk and come up with stuff to talk about. Alright? I might take a breath every 10 seconds or so to have a breath, you know, so that I can breathe and I can think of something to say, but I'll try and have minimal pausing, alright? When I speak. So, how has your guys' life been, yeah? I would love to know about how your life has been. Because I don't just sit here and stream just to flex. I like to get to know my viewers. I like to get to know the people that I watch on my stream. So how has your life been? Yeah? How has your life been? 2, have you enjoyed life how you wanted to? 3, how's your friends and family? I would love to know. If there's stuff you are uncomfortable to talk about and it's serious, my stream is a safe place to do so. I won't force you to do so, but I'll try and encourage you to do so. And if there's anyone mean, I will ban them, I will time them out, I will, you know, because if you've got some shit going on in your life and it's hard for you to talk about, the one thing you don't need is someone being horrible to you in the chat. And I will sort that out, mate. I will sort that out, don't worry. Don't be afraid of other people. Because one quote I've got for life, yeah? Anyone that bullies you is below you. If I am bullying someone, I am below them in life. If you bully me, you are below me in life. Whether it's on Anime Race Clicker, genuinely in life. Just because you're better than me in Anime Race Clicker and you've got more friends than me does not mean you are higher in life than me, right? No. Because you're less mature than me, so therefore that not maturity might struggle to get you a job. Because you might start being immature at a job and then you might get fired, right? Whereas me, I will know if I get a job, I will understand what I shouldn't do in my job, right? So I know how to keep a job. I haven't got a job yet, But what I'm saying is, people that bully you, that lower than you in life. Yeah? And but another quote, right, is, let me just remember all of this. Let the haters hate. They have got nothing to do with your life. If they will sit there, if you're a streamer like me, if your haters will sit on your stream, sending me messages to you in the chat, you have got a power, right, to sort them out. Now, what I would say is, don't respond to them in a negative way. Maybe try and like say, come on now, let's not be mean. I know you're trying to have a bit of a laugh with me, but let's not get into personal stuff here. They might actually stop, or they might see that you're trying to help them. They might start being nice to you. It might take them them time of doing the same thing and you saying the same things, them to actually pick up on it and understand that. But either do that, or you're gonna have to kick them out of the stream. Don't let them hate you, right? Every time you respond back, if someone tells me to kill myself, right, and I respond back to them in a hateful manner, they're winning because they're getting what they want. They want a response from me. I just gave them a response. That's how they won. Yeah. So don't let them do that. Now let's think on another topic about politics. What do you think of the illegal immigrants in the UK? Do you think that, like, for me personally, I would say the illegal immigrants that will happily work in a company, right? Let's say they work for an NHS because they are professional in their country. They get a job as an NHS worker in the UK. If they're happy to sit on the wage everyone else sits on and live their life like that, they're allowed in the country. The second they start to play up, they start to strike against us, they start to argue with the government, or they start to do bad stuff to make the country look bad, that's when they get deported. The illegal immigrants that come in, the people that just walk into the country or come along in boats, they should be given a chance to prove they're a good person, right? But here's where it comes into play, right? There are some bad immigrants. They're the ones that deserve to be deported. For example, if an illegal immigrant that kills people, they don't deserve to be in this country. No. They deserve to be deported by any means. I'm not going to let someone kill me, am I? No, I'm not. By any means, no, I'm not. So, right, what I'm saying is, you know, as a viewer, or I like to engage with my viewers. I really do. So, if you guys have got any questions you would like to ask me, feel free. So, yeah. In life, we're going to have ups, we're going to have downs, yeah? When you're in the down state, when you're in the down times, or bad times, I know that those times are going to end. Know that, yeah? It doesn't matter how, no matter how much you're hurting, remember, it's going to end. You know, the bad times are going to end soon. So get through them and enjoy the good times. When I was bullied, those were my bad times, yeah? Now that the bullying has pretty much stopped, well, when I was getting bullied properly and I wanted to kill myself, those are my lows, yeah? Those are my bad times in life. When the people were targeting my league and getting me banned for a year, right? Those were my lows. When people were targeting my league, targeting around, those were my bad times. When I had freedom and none of that was happening, I wasn't getting bullied, and all my college life and school life was fine, that's when my life was fine, yeah? When I was in Stroud College, that was some bad times, because the shit that happened there in my class was unbearable for me. I hated that college, man. I hated that college, right? One, I'm not saying all of them are, right? There are a load of furries at that college. You know, people that identify as animals. Two, there's lots of people with disabilities. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but for me, I don't understand them, right? I don't know how to treat a disabled person. I know that I can hold the door for them. I know I can maybe offer them help, but I don't know how like I'm supposed to act around them because I'm not disabled, so I don't know like how hard it is for them personally. Whereas I can relate to being bullied, right? So I know how to deal. I can help people get over the bullying bit, right? But I don't physically know how like I can react when they're mean to me. So there was some like verbal stimming where like basically it's just noises you can't control, like Tourette's, but not random words, silly noises, right? So like I'm doing now, this is voices or words, right? But silly voices like screaming or shouting or something like that, right? That's what verbal stimming is. You can't, your body makes those constantly, and you can't control them, right? And then it also does physical hand gestures like that or something. I don't know. And it was so annoying to a point I had to walk out the classroom because I just couldn't cope, right? And then on top of it, there was a girl, yeah, that was like taking a piss at me every day. Like, it got to the rate where, now, I don't want you guys to look down on me for this, yeah? At that point, I was so annoyed that when she purposely looked at me, right, so let's start from, I don't remember the exact what happened now, but I do remember most of it. So, I was literally just stood in the corridor, right? I was physically stood in the corridor. I saw her just by the split of my eye look at me, directly look at me, right? Like that, directly look at me. Not like that, but in the term that I physically saw her look at me, directly at me. And then she proceeded to barge past me, right? If this is me, right, if this is me in the corridor, yeah? This bottle's me in the corridor. She looks over at me and then she goes, oh, there's James. Like that. So then when she's walking by, uh-oh, I knocked into James, right? So I lost it to that literal point. I didn't go like that, but I did go like that because I was that annoyed to get her off me, basically, right? The thing with me is I don't condone any violence, right? But for me personally, if someone lays a hand on me, right, if they just go up to me and punch me, or if they slap my back, I'm not going to accept that, am I? I'm not going to accept someone to hit me like that. I'm going to punch someone up, right? I don't care for getting to a 10v1. If I have to get into a 10v1, I will do that. If I get a battered, I get a battered in it, right? You know, because let's be honest, I'm not going to win a 10v1. I'm not that sort of person. I'm really not. I'm just a random streamer that has got into situations like that before, right? Not very often, but rarely. I've got into that rarely, yeah? But I have. Like, in primary, I got into a situation like that. Some kid in my primary school, second primary, he got, one of those big bouncy balls, right? He physically grabbed it and threw it at me, right? If this is a big ball, this is me, yeah? If it's heavy enough, it could knock a toddler over, yeah? It could knock a toddler over for sure, yeah? But if 11-year-old me, 10-year-old me, 9-year-old me it's probably not going to knock me over because I'm big enough and strong enough at that point to survive that. But if this is a big bouncy ball, right? This is a big bouncy ball. This is a little toddler. The toddler's gonna obviously fall because a toddler is 4 years old and a massive bouncy ball, right? I feel like a small ball, right, is big enough to knock them over. Maybe a normal sized football if it's hard enough, uh, in my face or something, right? But yeah, so at a point, I literally just, I didn't fight him, I didn't physically fight him, but I threw stuff back at him. That's the sort of person I was then, and I still am now. I'm not trying to make out that I'm no bad man, because I'm really not. But I will take a few beatings. If my mates get robbed, I will take a few beatings. If that's what I have to take, if I have to get a few stitches, I'll do that for my true mates, yeah. I'll do that for my mates. I'll do that for my boys. I will. Trust me, I will, yeah. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure everyone, or if you don't, then I feel bad for you, but I'm sure everyone in this chat has got at least one true friend that will do anything for you. Yeah? You might be that person. You might have a mate that you would literally die for that person. If you were in a situation and someone said, you give me your life or he dies, you would die for him. You would, you would die for him, and then your mate's free, your mate's safe. You would die for him, right? For example, because because he's a sort of person you love that much, right? Yeah. And also in life, yeah, when you want to achieve something, you need to stick to it. For example, if you want to become a professional, if you want to become a professional tennis player, you have to train enough. Right. So let's say you're in two different tennis leagues, right, within your area. You're currently 16. You're in an under 17s league and in an under 20s league, right? I can imagine you're the youngest one on the under 20s league, right? And I don't know how tennis works. I don't know it at all, right? But let's say in your league, each game is 2 hours. Each team has got, right, let me just think straight. So, 16, so 20, 40, 60, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, right? Hang on. Yeah, so let's say in your tennis league, the game is 2 hours. Every 20 minutes, it is another. So, right, basically, right? The, there's the game's 2 hours. Each each round is 1 hour, and each set is an hour. So in one set, in one round, there is 3 sets, 20 minutes each. And within your team, out of 10 maybe, right? Your team has to decide who's going to go up against the opponent in a 2v2 or a 1v1. I don't know, let's say it's a 4v4 league, right? And it's a 2 hour game. So you can bring as many players as you want, so you can swap out players throughout the game, right? You want to become the main person in your under 20s one. Despite everyone else in the league might be, in terms of physicality, in terms of age, very well above you. You might have better stamina than you, but you might be faster than them because you're lighter. So when it comes to actually running to a ball, you might be better at it. and you might be really good, right? And getting that ball hit so hard, it is hard for your opposition to get a ball. And you might be able to instantly, your skill is good enough to instantly go up 3 points, right? And you know, in your league, there might be other ways to score than 1 point. So there might just not just be ways to score 1 point. There might be ways you can score 3-1 or 5-1 maybe, and you might be able to get a lot of 5-1s quite frequently. You know, you might score just for you alone out of the 80 points your team scored that day. You might score 30 of those points just for yourself, for you as a person. And then those 30 points alone was enough to almost win your team the game. But you might end up going to destroy that team 80 to 55, for example, right? So those 30 points you got was almost enough to beat the opposition. And then you just needed your team to get some points as well. Because so then your teammates might have got like 20. So you, let's say, right, you got 40 points in total. Your teammates only need, or let's say you got 50 points. Your manager put you on, right? For, let's say, the whole first set, right? Then your manager took you off for the second set to rest. Because your manager could tell you were goddamn knackered, yeah? And then they put you back on for a third set. Now you've recovered. Your opponents might have new players on. So they're the players currently on aren't ready. They don't know how good you are. They might have watched you, but they haven't played against you yet. So they don't know how they're going to perform against you. So now, because it's the final set of that first round, they're wanting to really get as much points off you as they can. And there might be another way where there's a way you can steal points from the other player, right? From your position. Maybe. And then they end up stealing 5 points from you very quickly because you have a poor start. You have a poor wake up start. So then straight after that you suddenly, all of a sudden, steal 5 points from them. You've just done a really good thing. But in order to get to that level, you have to train and train and train and train. Any sport. Football, basketball. If you want to become a pro basketball player, if you want to make it to the NBA, National Basketball Association, you have to train. You're not going to get a D if you don't train. Like, it doesn't, even if you're doing 1 hour of training a week, that is more than some people will put in. Some people only have stuff like that as a hobby as a young kid. And then when they grow older, they realise that isn't really the sort of career they're going to need. They know they're not really going to take off from that sort of thing. So then they realise that they have to basically do a different career. So they go ahead and do that. They might get a degree, a business degree at a college. They might join a business course at a college, right? You might realise that as a young kid, your passion, right? Let's say as a young kid, you know, in secondary, you might realise your passion is basketball. And you at your age, at that age, you want to become a professional NBA player, you're going to have to put in work, aren't you? No player gets to that level just by showing up to the games. I'll tell you why. Because every time whilst your team is out there training, you know, some players might be on this goddamn hard schedule. You look at your schedule and you think, God, I couldn't even do a quarter of that, let alone his schedule, right? Because I'll be knackered after a quarter of that. That's the sort of level they pay off. Sometimes that dedication just doesn't pay off, and that's life. If everyone was to succeed, it will be too easy. And quite frankly, quite frankly, eventually the leagues would run out and the sport would become boring because it's the same story. There's no background to it, except all they did was do loads of hours of training and then they, after a few months of training or whatever, they got a professional team because they did one good game, right? But in real life now, you have to prove to that scout what you're worth. You have to. So what I'm trying to say is work hard, dedicate yourself to your goal. If I want to become number one on here, yeah, if I want to become number one on here, yeah, I'm gonna have to put in the work, my mate. I'm currently 141 from the world. That's only because I've got this team on. Whereas when I got that, I was more like 145th. Because look, so yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna end the poll now. I can't really do another poll because I don't have the necessities for it because of the keyboard. But yeah, so yeah, chat. Hello. Hello. All right, you guys can hear me. So, so I'm gonna do some speaking with my mic off. So I'm gonna do some speaking with my mic off. One I'm on YouTube on my Xbox, but I'll only do a little bit. I'm not gonna do too much.
So chat, how has the day been? I would love to know about how your day's been. So, chat, yeah, like I keep saying, feel free to ask me any questions. I'll answer those questions because I want my chat, I want my viewers to be able to ask me any questions and be comfortable and feel like I'm not going to get annoyed. So, you know, with all due, you know, all by all means ask me questions. Right, chat, I'm just going to do a quick edit to my F1 CR League thing because I feel like I've got too many 24 tiers. Like with the amount I've got at the moment, I think I only need 124 tier. So I'm going to announce that I'm changing it. Announcements, everyone. Tier 2 season will end due to you know, active members with So chat, if you guys are looking for an F1 24-25 league, I will send a link to one to my one in the chat. Now, in order to join up, you need to do a quick sign up thing. That's about it. It's pretty simple. It's in the welcome category. There's 1, 2, 3, 9 channels. Is the 8th channel. It's simple. You click on sign up channel. You look at the format I've done. You copy it. You fill the details in. Sign up is done. Simple. So yeah, F1 CRS3. Link expires in 60 days, and then send it in here. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to watching. I feel like I don't know what to do at this point because there's like it is boring sitting here waiting for my circus to come in, but at the same time, if there was a way that I could do something else at the same time, like I just wish there was. Maybe I could grind index at the same time. Maybe that's just not possible. But you know.
Are we giving away the cent or are we giving away the cent or no? Is it a good note that? Keep your assessment from coming. Easy. You're about easy. I know about putting it right. Like 4 4 11. That's 0 5. Right, go on, again. Right, go for it. Go, again. One more. That's it. Yeah, the banner from them, don't want to hear my message for that. Side to side, facing left. Open your gate. Heel flex. I need, sorry. Zigzag, down low, in and out. Backwards to the first one, stick to the second one, jog to the third one. Up for a header for the first one and two, shout your name, jog once you've landed. Okay, jog to the first one, squat to the second, and then sprint to the third one. Okay, stand there, stretch off. Do some static stretching, hamstrings, calf. Right, look at my stand up over here. Right, over 15, black and orange. Go, go, name, name. I know, I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, yeah. Right, the old boys are warming up. We're trying to warm up. It's absolutely crucial. I do for the game myself. Oh, mate, get nervous. That's fun. I'm a bit nervous. I always get nervous before games. Yeah. Even though we played Wigan before, but we've got some spectators who are very interesting. Obviously, local derby. Super fan friendly as well, joining me. I've just got here now. How you doing for us? This is our local derby. This is everybody. I'm looking forward to the party for looking forward to anything you want me to do from a game from a tactics point of view. Keep it cold. I don't know what to do down here. You don't play on a full 2 season. There's nothing in the minute. Alright. I think the boys that have to go to that for the Christmas New Year. Yeah. I think they can't keep them up like cobwebs. I think we're going to 3-1. Mike, got John Big West, give us a score for this. Might get a bad kid on Tuesday night. 4-0. Oh, right. Okay. Got that. I was going to say 4. Right. Well, let's get into it. Come on, United. Come on. First game back after about 6 weeks. We all get excited to get back out on that bit. And for those that were here last season, understand the severity of this game. Those that weren't here and are new, this is our derby. When you're on that bit, stay with every single game. Everything on that pitch from the start and talking aggression, passing intensity, passing tempo, run short, stop. And in terms of calories, right next in the table tennis table. The largest armed robbery in British history. It's taken out now. Not anything.
You looking for an F125 league that offers clean, varied skill level, and fun racing? Look no further. F1 CRS3 is on its third season of running, with drivers that joined and left the league because whether they decide they no longer want to race or they only join to dominate and they prove their dominance. If you want to be the next champion, I suggest you join now and join quickly before it's midway through the season. So yeah, I will leave the link to the Discord below, and I would love to see you join. Whether you join as a racer, whether you join as a commentator, the roles we're looking for right now is team principals across all the tiers, drivers, FIA, and potentially commentators as well, and maybe and some server admins for the Discord. You can be an FIA and a server admin, which is kind of the same role, except FIA is to do with the league, and server admin to do with the Discord server to ensure people follow the server rules. So yeah, I'll leave a link to the Discord.
I am in love with this jacket. I want to get this jacket for ages. Like,
Once you're very desperate, need keep people trusted, I am like obviously some people join different teams because maybe they just got bored of the same league, or maybe they, the manager just didn't want them anymore. It's sometimes crazy that some managers will drop players after a few bad games, despite how many good results they've got. If they're a goalkeeper, they might have made some of the most goated, insane saves, but they have three bad games in a row, or maybe their team plays bad and they concede one goal because they weren't ready for that to happen, and then they get dropped after doing that 2 games in a row. Despite at the start of the season they made some of the best saves they ever made, you know? Or they just decided that, maybe they get bored of that team. They enjoyed the time there, but they just want to join a different higher league that maybe they got an offer for and they can't turn it down because they would always love to play in a higher tier.
but you need to step up in the business. Winning games 10-0 and 9-0. So much worse games. Just not done effectively. The organisers give place to the team in the medium level only because it's a new team and nobody knew what level should be playing at. That's the thing. Guys, I watch a lot of goalkeepers because like I just like watching goalkeepers, right? Because someone that is a striker, you know that their main job is to score goals, whereas a goalkeeper, it's not just about saving balls; it's about doing it to a team. Where I feel like scoring goals. Some of the strikers do it for themselves more than the club sometimes. Whereas you know that the game is going to be in your hands as a goalkeeper. Yes, it's up to the striker to score goals, but I feel like in a way it's easier to score goals than to save goals because you've got to actually dive, you've got to be able to have the physicality to be able to get to a ball, get up to a ball or down to a ball. Whereas a striker, you only need your feet. You just need to be able to have good strike to a ball, and then you could. And if you've got a good keeper, you've got to really try. If you know the keeper's abysmal, some teams if they have got no keeper that week, when it's to the corners, test the keeper. Test the wrong range, make them, you know, make them shit their pants because when you strike them from long range, they're not going to expect that. So whereas they're going to be ready to dive, they might react too late because they automatically assume they don't need to dive so fast. There's no point diving too early where you stress to get to a ball. Where by the time the ball's actually got to you, you're already on the ground when you dive, for example. So, yeah. So, anyway, I'm going to go back to the game. This team that Ronnie joined, Kid De Gea joined, is a team that was placed in the mid-level in the league. And they are beating teams 9-10-0. And you don't intentionally do that. It's clear that that team's not the right level. They need to be up a division. That's why some leagues will always have at least 6 different divisions rather than just 2 or 3. So they've got more, space for extra tiers if it is going to be generally needed. Because let's say that league might suddenly get, 10 more teams looking to sign, right? And that's in some cases that might be worth a whole other division or a whole other tier to the average if they already on borderline for some tiers. Anyway, I'm going to go. I need the blue again, so I'm going to go. Taylor. Mylock gets the cross away. And was arriving in, pushing wings. It's across to O'Donnell. O'Donnell's cross. Deep cushion back to the edge of the area. Straight from distance. Very carries away. Roderick there. Puts it across the 6-yard box. Rockman managed to get it clear. Only as far as Kenny. Here is Towler. Tries to in across towards the back post. It's going to go all the way through. It's a kept in play. Oh, corner kick. Straight from there on Morrissey. Morrissey, once again, he's had a few of those. They've all been on target. None of them have hit the back of the net yet. Rather super stop at the stretch there for Machine Barry.
Hello, chat. So, yeah. I'm probably gonna just finish up the stream in the next 15 minutes because I've got a game soon. So, yeah.
Easiest. Play. Get laid.
No, man, but you got to keep going. What am I going to do? Quit? That's not an option. You got to keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, dig it. You make it work for you. No, man, but you got to keep going. What am I going to do? Quit? That's not an option. You got to keep on keeping on.
So yeah, chat. I feel like the main thing with Anime Race Clicker is that there's too many OP or genuine pay to win stuff, not enough genuine true stuff that comes from playing more heart and think, what can I do to make this game better for the not pay to win players, you know? Or genuinely all the players not including pay to win stuff. Like pay to win that pay to win. Pay to win. I guess pay to win as well, man. Obviously these are normal. Every game is most games are gonna have game passes. This is somewhat pay to win as well. This is pay to win. If it was maybe cheaper, then it wouldn't be so pay to win because more people could afford it. Or maybe if it was bigger packs for slightly less. So instead of it being 2.4k for 50k, it's like 3,000 for 20k, 1.2 thousand for 8,000, and then 4,000 is 800 maybe, you know? Something like that, just to generally make it less pay to win.
Your viewers know more about your personal life than your best friend does. We need to know about boundaries and avoiding parasocial relationships as a streamer. Save this, send to a streamer, and let's get into it. As streamers, we're told to be authentic and relatable, but there's a difference between being genuine and oversharing. Here's how to set healthy boundaries. Firstly, decide what's off limits before you go live. Your relationship, your location, your mental health struggles. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Write down your non-negotiables. Next up, don't feel pressure to respond to every personal question. A simple, I keep that private word. You don't need to justify it. And remember, your viewers are not your therapist, nor are you their therapist. Sharing struggles is okay, but dumping your trauma on stream creates unhealthy dynamics for everyone. Then set time boundaries too. Just because you can stream 8 hours doesn't mean you should. Burnout helps no one. And this one is important. Your mods are your first line of defense. Empower them to remove comments across line. You're not being fake by having boundaries, you're being professional and protecting your own mental health. What's one boundary you wish you'd set earlier in content creator? Let me know in the comments and hit that follow button. Your viewers know more about your personal life than your best friend does. We need to know about boundaries and avoiding parasocial relationships as a streamer. Save this, send to a streamer, and let's get into it. As streamers, we're told to be authentic and relatable, but there's a difference between being genuine and oversharing. Here's how to set healthy boundaries. Firstly, decide what's off limits before you go live. Your relationship, your location, your mental health struggles. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Write down your non-negotiables. Next up, don't feel pressure to respond to every personal question. A simple, I keep that private word. You don't need to justify it. And remember, your viewers are not your therapist, nor are you their therapist. Sharing struggles is okay, but dumping your trauma on stream creates unhealthy dynamics for everyone. Then set time boundaries too. Just because you can stream 8 hours doesn't mean you should. Burnout helps no one. And this one is important. Your mods are your first line of defense. Empower them to remove comments across line. You're not being fake by having boundaries, you're being
Losing at home to West Ham is too much for me. Sack Thomas Frank tonight. So many obvious players are bottom top. You're 1-0 down at home. You get back into the game and you throw it away into the hands of Callum Wilson.
You know, I just don't think Arsenal are doing good anymore. I don't want to have to believe that, but I find it hard to believe that they're really there. You know, I just refuse to believe it. I just do. I just don't think their performance is there anymore. Right, you know, and it's just to a point now where I'm kind of. It's not that I'm losing interest; it's that I'm getting bored of the same results, whether I'm watching a game or not. Like today, right? I didn't watch the Arsenal game, but I checked in on my live score because I was busy grinding, right? But that didn't stop me from enjoying the score, right? I'm annoyed that they haven't won. right? Quite frankly, they should have easily won against West Ham, but they couldn't even put a single single goal with all the strikers they've got. So let me have a look at the lineup as well and see. Oh no, sorry, Nottingham Forest. Sorry, Nottingham Forest are where are they? 17th. Right, they're just out of relegation, but that is still ridiculous. If they were fifth in the league, that's different. If they're eighth in the league, that's a bit different. If they're 12th, I still feel like that's a bad game. But I'll have to have a look at 12th. 12th is still relatively, the gap lies. No. So the gap lies. So 12th has got 29. So I feel like for a decent result, I feel like 12th would still be a bottle, but they've lost to the 17th. I'm not happy with that. I'm going to have a look at the lineup as well, right? Because I'm not sure what the lineup was today. So same keeper. Saka. Saka wasn't in the starting 11 today. Martinelli was. Gyökeres was. Raya was. White was. Saliba was. But Saka wasn't. Was that the reason they lost? That could be, But I'm going to have a look at the stats. Yeah, so they could have easily converted one of their chances. Shots on target 3, Arsenal. Off target 4. Blocked 8. 81% possession. 9 corner kicks. No offsides. They have got more fouls and cards. Slightly less throw-ins. 9 less throw-ins. More crosses. But Raya did not have to make any saves today. Whereas the other goalkeeper made 3 saves. So actually, it was a very good performance from the other goalkeeper today. So actually, now I've seen that, I know the shot was on, but the keeper was doing a good job of denying those shots opportunities. So I'm still annoyed about the fact they couldn't convert. Whereas I feel like if Saka was on from the start, he could have got them a goal. But to be honest, I do also feel like they need to stop the constant things where they constantly play the ball around in our half. They're time wasting so much. I know they don't want to lose the ball. I know they don't want to concede early on. But they should have a confidence. The players should have a confidence that they don't need to stress about that. Right? So they can comfortably or feel comfortable to trust each other, not to bottle it basically. Right? So they can happily go attack, but the defenders can still get back in time. Or the defenders can sit further enough back so when the goalkeeper makes that throw, they can get ready to make the run. Or at least check around their surroundings for the next man, But I'm going to have a look at the next match because if they keep losing, they're going to bottle the lead. So, Arsenal matches the next one. Premier League wise, 25th of Jan. Premier League is 25th of Jan, and then league stage, 20th. knockout stage is, well, Babe already played, I think. Yeah, knockout stage. Yeah, they've done those games, so it might be down to more. There might be more teams that have to do games first before they get scheduled or something. I don't know. Yeah, FA Cup round 4, semi-finals. All right, Arsenal and Chelsea 3rd of February. So yeah, let's have a look at the news. Well, that's not good. Arsenal denied clear penalty. Denied clear penalty in Forest draw. Or apparently now a clear penalty. A manager said, "Sean Dyche, cancel football if that Arsenal penalty is given." I need to see the footage before I make any conclusion. I really do, because I'm not gonna side with my team if it is not a clear penalty. To be fair, I'm a man of sportsmanship. If I don't think it was a fair penalty, I will accept that. I'll accept the goal, but I'll be happy they've scored. But I'll accept the fact. I'll be happy to accept that it wasn't a fair goal. I will be. But anyway, how are you guys doing? How have you guys? How's your life been so far? Yeah. Please update me on your life because I really want to get to know the viewers. If you guys aren't comfortable sharing your personal experiences, don't stress about telling me. If you would love to open up to me about it, open up to me about your mental health. If you're struggling, let me know and I can help you because I've been there too. If you guys haven't been there when I was bullied, then you're clearly a new viewer, or a recently new viewer, or maybe or actually no, I'd say a new viewer is in the last few months. If you've been watching my channel for about a year, I'd say you're relatively new, but not super new. But you haven't watched me for years because I joined in like 2020, I think. Also, I'll have to check, but sometime in 2020. I have deleted some of my old videos just because, I just thought why not. The oldest, 5 years ago. So yeah, chat. Yeah. I'm most likely going to end the stream now because I'll tell you why. Because I've got a game. I'm watching my team play tomorrow, and it's at 10:30 a.m. in the morning, so I need some sleep to be ready to play. I'm not playing. I'm not signed yet, but to basically be ready to watch the game. Because I don't want to fall asleep though, like on the sidelines. Probably not. So yeah. Anyway, so I'll do one more race and then I'll go off. So I'll put on one quick last boost. So yeah, chat. I hope you guys do have a good rest of the day, and I do hope if you're in America, I hope you have a good rest of the day. If you're in the UK, I hope you have a good night's sleep when you decide to go to sleep. I also hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, and also I hope you enjoy school on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and the rest of the week coming up. So yeah, and one thing I can say in school is if you've got people that I'm not say bully you, but just give you a hard time, try not to let it get to you. You know, if you're in year 10, especially if you're in your GCSEs, those final exams will come up a lot faster than you will realise, and letting them stress you out is only gonna make you do worse in your exams, and you need that. You really need that negative energy in your life. No, you don't. Don't let. So if the answer is no, don't let them get to you. Simple. It's not simple because it's hard for some people, but hopefully you know what I mean, and hopefully you don't take it the wrong way. Anyway, now there's only 22 seconds left. In 2 seconds, I'll say my final goodbyes, and then I'll stop the boost as well. So, yeah. Anyway, like you always say, peace out. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching my stream. Everyone that's watched, thank you for watching my stream. Peace out and bye. See you guys in my next stream. Thanks for watching. Peace out and bye.